Hi friends, I would like to welcome the sustainable washing expert Luca Braschi from Italy. He has been working in the fashion industry for the last 20 years and focusing on sustainable processes and working in different laundries, and he has a vast experience in this field. So let me first play a video about him, and then I welcome him on the stage. Can we play the video on Luca? Okay, that was a wonderful video. And hi, Luca, how are you?
Nice to see you, Sandeep. I'm okay. Hope it's the same for you.
Yeah, everything is fine, and I would like to wish you a happy birthday for your company, Blue Alchemy.
Thank you. Yes, that video was just describing in few seconds all numbers, all the experience I had during the first 4 years of the company, of Blue Alchemy. It was 4 years full of experience, full of satisfaction, many ideas, exchange information with a lot of talented people. So, and a lot of travels, a lot of flights. And then something happened. Something
that
happened.
seems
I mean,
now
suddenly
travel
a
seems
virus
history.
came.
Travel seems a history like now. I mean, it seems like history, and we are stuck up for like last 8 months. So, how are you managing? How are you managing your things, because you are so on your work is so much on the on real hands-on kind of work. So, I mean, how are you managing now?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I'm not traveling since February of this year, so it's so many months without traveling abroad, and this is something strange for me because I've been traveling since I was 19 years old. Now I'm 46, so I mean, it's a long period of time without traveling, so it's shocking a little bit. But luckily, I'm able to work and still dirty my hands locally, let's say in Italy. And all my contracts are still active. So, I mean, they're still there. I'm able to manage some important projects with my customers. But of course, I'm coordinating all the trials, all the sourcing locally in Italy. And I started some collaboration with some Italian players of the fashion industry. It's also positive because before I had no time to dedicate too much time to that. But now I realize there are a lot of amazing resources here in Italy and with very good people. And so I'm just managing this project for my customer, making some new collaborations, so it's not bad at the end. It's not so bad. Still surviving.
That's great.
Let's say.
So, I mean, having local operations available makes things much easier for you, because you can go to these laundries and work there, and then you can replicate these whatever your work is there. Then you can kind of share these details with your clients, and they can try to replicate this.
Yeah. Of course, everything has to be made online. Of course, I prefer going there face to face, go together and do the things together. But it's nice because I'm able to follow some important projects, and mostly, this new age of finishing, of sustainable approach of many brands, of many laundries, also all the companies, chemical company or machineries companies, it creates a new kind of opportunities at the end, because I think in the old age, I think it was saturated with the ideas. Not many new ideas we were able to find, to create. But this new wave, in this new age of technology, this new age of approach, gives a lot of room to improve, a lot of unexplored areas where practically I focused all my energy during this month and try to get the best to a new product, new method, new applications in order to get the best of this new way to work. And so far, some interesting things are already done, and some very interesting are going to come soon, still under process. And that's why I'm able to do all trials by some chemical companies or something like that in order to make trials and finalize something. My idea is to find something to make easier the work of the operators in the laundries, in production, because I mean, in my opinion, sustainable finishing has to be also easy, and we should not complicate life of the workers in the textile industry, but to make it easy. So my target is that, finding something that is helping them and create also a sort of differentiation of effect, because sometimes you may think, okay, sustainable will look all the same. It's not true. I mean, at the beginning I was thinking the same, but it's not true, because we are able to find every day new idea, because there is a lot of space for that now, because it's a completely new age, I have to say. And it's exciting at the end, challenging, but exciting.
And this is, of course, the time we are learning new things, so many new things. And when you're dealing with operators spread around the world, with the clients you're dealing, so do you find that they are able to really understand what you have developed in Italy and shared with them, and they are able to kind of quickly replicate that?
But this is a part, for instance, with my customer, is part of, let's say, teamwork. What I'm doing here, of course, then my customer is replicating in-house, assisting them online to do that, and they do their part. Of course, my work is to create something easy, so not something too complicated and need my presence there to do it. So I mean, this is something basic. Is very important. It's the basement, let's say, have to be easy. Then they can do it. Then we are in continuous contact to follow up everything. So it's a teamwork at the end. I cannot do everything alone here in Italy, that's for sure. I really hope to start traveling soon. I mean, the situation in Italy is good, but the problem is all the consequences, not because of the virus, but because then when you're back from a foreign country, you have to do some quarantines. Then I have a family, you never know, maybe also my kids that have go to school, they go to quarantines. So, I mean, it's all the consequences create some, and I'm negative. If I'm positive, okay, it's gonna be even worse. So
absolutely.
This is
I mean, we are living in very tough times here, but we'll overcome this.
Yeah.
So coming to sustainable washing, sustainable washing has got so many components. So what are the three most components you feel that this is the number one most important, number two, and number three? How do you rate these different components of
yeah. But first of all, let's say what I consider a sustainable wash or a sustainable finishing is a sort of formula. It's a sort of formula with two components. First of all, first component is a group of treatments and and finishing processes that reduce the consumption of natural resources and also reduce the energy, so the CO2 emission. This is the first group. Natural resources, of course, we can consider water, for instance. And the second group, part of this formula that have to be added, is the use of certified chemistry That means chemistry that doesn't contain any substances that could be hazardous for the environment, but in the same time, not dangerous for the workers in the textile industry and mostly to the final consumers too. So the combination of these two is the basic formula for a sustainable wash. What makes this formula a winning formula is that those two things has to be production friendly. By my experience, what I see that whatever we develop we have to be conscious of what we do without being too much excited of using maybe a lot of technologies or maybe a lot of new stuff, but try to still use the most important technology we have, our brain, because we know that sometimes production at the end is the focus at the end. Production is what gives the real garments, what makes your brand to sell and everything, but it's the focus at the end of the process. And that is where all these sustainable wash has to be consistent in production. You should not have problem of shading, all those kind of things. And to make that, it's important that this sustainable wash has to be simple at the end. And I'm telling you that because before maybe mentioning some specific technologies, I realized that there are fabrics, there are kind of look you want to achieve that needs still some conventional way to work, plus some new technologies. We cannot pretend to do everything with technology. Maybe we save a lot of water, I'm sure. I'm really happy about the technology, I have to say. I have to be frank. I'm really happy about technology, helps a lot. But in certain condition, you have to be clever enough to understand for that kind, with that kind of fabric or with that kind of wash or for that kind of customer, what kind of process you can do in order to be consistent. I make you just a practical example because I'm talking about a theory, but I would like also to be practice. For instance, there are some kind of wash, maybe since the beginning, the starting point of the wash, when you do desizing, enzyme, all this kind of thing, bleaching, all these kind of things, there are now a new generation of chemicals that allows you to do with just one or two chemicals to do 3 steps in one, for instance, in the same washing bath, using a conventional level of water. Because we have to consider that if we were using a certain amount of water, there was also reason because of that. Because I mean, some fabric can work better in that condition. The uniformity of the application of some solution in the water are better distributed on the fabric. You avoid crack marks effect or any other kind of problems, issues. But if you do this at a full load, so full load in that machine with a normal level of water, doing 3 steps in one, and I know many products that are able to do that in production without problem, then you do just a rinse after that and you finish the process. But sometimes you want to do something even more. You want to use some kind of technology that maybe they save more water, but at the end of the day, you have to split that load maybe in 2 times because you cannot do it a full load, maybe in 3 times too. What it means you have to do the same process 3 times. Every time you have to make a rinse, probably clean the drums, clean the containers of the products, of the technology machine. And at the same times, you have to consider that in production, there is deadlines. There are some timing issues sometimes. So everything has to be done inside a certain time. So doing this kind of process with new technology, maybe at the end of the day, when you calculate the consumption of water with the full formula, the whole formula, I mean, there is not much saving of time. At the end, you realize that you maybe spend too much time. There is not much save of water, but you spend too much time. And the end was much easier to do the first option without investing a lot in technology in that case, and you have done. This is just an example, for instance. That's what I mean. You have to use technology, but with a good balance, in order to make production easy, fast, not too long at the end.
And practically, it has to remain practical so that the production comes out well, because the ultimate target is to get the good production, so.
No, in fact, this is the case. Then I also will show you some other example later, but this is the case. Also considering the chemistry. I mean, chemistry is important, but you have to be you have to know what you are using, because there are some chemicals that maybe are certified, but if you check the safety data sheet and everything, you have to consider that maybe this kind of chemical maybe doesn't contain any hazardous elements, no heavy metals, nothing, but maybe they are working in a very acid pH. No? So an acid pH is better to not apply by spray, but maybe many people do the mistake to apply them by spray, maybe exposing their workers to some risk, not very dangerous, but some risk. So that kind of chemical is better to use in washing machine. This is another things. For instance, I attended also a course from ZDHE Academy for the chemical management. So it's a service that I'm giving to my customer to check their chemicals, what they are using, what is good, what is not, what has to be replaced, and how to apply them. This is also very important. So, I mean, sustainable is good, is everything. We have a lot of new technology, new ideas, but we have to be clever and use it properly, in a proper way. Then everything is going to be good, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
This is something I believe.
So this was the number 1, 2, and 3. So we have
You're right.
about.
You're right. Then this was the number 1 in my opinion.
Okay.
It's not a technology, but is a mindset and a method to work. If I have to consider number 2 and number 3, 2 technology that in my opinion are very important are ozone and laser, in my opinion. Because both of them are 2 technology that skip and cut the washing process. So you are skipping some steps, and skipping steps means saving water, saving energy, and also not using chemistry at the end, of course. So you're polluting a little bit less the drain, the wastewater. And ozone, in my opinion, is one of the technologies that now is still have a lot of unexplored areas. We are using it, but I think we are at the very beginning of this technology, of the knowledge of this technology. And that's one of the things I'm working in my project, let's say, because I believe ozone has a lot of interesting things to do. At the moment, in my opinion, we are using just maybe just 30–40% of the capability of this technology. Really? Maybe we have to work on the concentration, we have to work some time, we have to work combining the new generation of products with this technology. That's what's make interesting. One thing I just want to say is that also concerning the formula I told you before, that the special treatments and finishing with technology and the chemistry, they are together to make this winning formula, but also they have to interact together, because every new generation of chemical has a new kind of raw material. They have new kind of reaction, and they work in different conditions comparing with the conventional one. So comparing apple to apple, the conventional product with the substitute, sustainable substitute, is not correct. The new chemicals has different characteristics. For instance, the pH, as I was mentioning before, the pH is acid, is working, and the acid pH, you can keep it on the fabric and may be helpful for the laser or ozone application you do later, because it's boosting, it's making the effect a little bit different. So taking these things that looks like a limitation, a limits of the chemical, have to become an opportunity. This is something, in my opinion, interesting. And with ozone, I think there is a lot of space, a lot of room to work on it. And laser, in my opinion, is also something that it's needs a lot of work at the beginning, because if you want to use laser, you have to get in your company very good graphic designers and play with the laser a lot before creating a very authentic look image or maybe print that is giving an authentic look on the final garment when you wash the garment at the end. But once you reach that level of quality of graphic designing, in my opinion, laser is giving a great help at the end. And also the use of laser instead of the potassium permanganate application by spray. This is something, in my opinion, is giving good results. And the effect is good. I mean, if you play and dose the concentration, the intensity properly, the effect may be good. So, I mean, also laser is something that, in my opinion, we are using a lot, but still has room to improve, in my opinion. And I see a lot of improvement by the company selling lasers. So this is just to complete your the answer of your question.
3 parts, okay. And do you have any process examples to kind of show?
Yeah, yeah. Let me. I have some images of some developments just to show you. I want just to make a comparison between two kind of approach. One is approach using the full strength of all those technology and make something, saving time and good results and everything. And the second picture will be using those chemicals I was mentioning to you to gather together many steps and saving water without any particular technology. Just to show you that probably, I mean, if you combine it, even better, of course. But there are companies that have technology, they did investment, they did it good. I mean, they had a good vision. Other company that couldn't afford. So, I mean, but both cases should not limitate our, vision to make sustainable, our way to make sustainable. So I'm going to show you the first picture that is full technology. I will describe them. Just a second.
That would be interesting to see.
Yeah. Let me just show you. Okay, do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, this is, for instance, is a garment made with a combination of technology. There is nebulization or foam or whatever is the technology. The important thing is to work with a water ratio of 1:1, so 1 kilograms of garments in 1 liter of water. So very low level of water. I used laser at the beginning and then ozone. This is the effect that I'm getting, and I see the effect is very nice. But also together with this technology, I like also to add some tools, because it's also important to check and investigate the physics of the washing machine drum, the movement of the garments. You can put inside, instead of pumice stone alternative of the pumice stone, you can get something abrasive. You can put some sustainable stones. There are also stones coming from the mud of the pumice stones that, instead of create a lot of waste, they recycle it and make new kind of pumice stone. This is also a way to give a new life to the pumice stones in order to not get too much waste. But also other kind of abrasive. I can show you some, but in this case, we can see that if I compare this process to what I would have done if I was in a conventional way, I save 80% of water. So we are reducing a lot the water, and the garment still looks good, because the very important things, in my opinion, is that the garment has to be sold. So has to be nice looking. So if we do all this, sacrifice, not doing, we put a lot of limitation in our wash, but then at the end, the final product is very cheap. I mean, there's no way, there is no selling. So the garment should be very nice. We should not compromise the look. And in my opinion, this garment is also nice. I mean, it has...
it's wonderful. If you see with no conventional methods used in this, it's wonderful effects. And it's very difficult to say it's made with laser.
There's a lot of nice details. If you can see, there is no any application of chemistry by spray, but it looks like it's applied some potassium permanganate. That is just laser. So I mean, it's just a PP laser, like call it like that. So this is something we can do, and the process is easy and short, not too long. I'm gonna. Okay. I'm gonna show you, for instance, this is something that I use sometimes. These are just a sort of abrasive pads that I put together, but you can use also other kind of things that while you're using that and in bulk, the effect is even better than in sampling, I have to say, because I'm showing you some garment, then I made developments, but I made also production. So I'm not showing something that is impossible to replicate.
Absolutely.
But of course, but this is thanks to this technology, because also laser helps you to recover the contrast. Ozone also is helping you to recover the contrast. Some chemistry also is able to highlight the contrast, the abrasions, and at the same time cleaning the garment, because you know when you're using very low level of water, you have a lot of back stainings. The garment looks like I mean, very dirty, and you need something to clean up. But if you do it, I mean, with this technology or some chemistry, I mean, the result is fine. Probably in production, you have to adjust the concentration of those kind of things. You have to increase something and decrease something else. This is normal. This is part of the physics of our job. If it was a pure mathematics, everybody was able to do it. But just because there are a lot of variable components, I mean,
so many permutations and combinations.
Yeah.
So many permutations and combinations.
Yeah, and experience at the end that helps you to have a wide range of solution when you find an issue. I mean, and all the wide range of solution, you get it by experience. Every day, every year, you go there, you just add one new tools to use to solve some issue. I'm gonna show you the other picture now, just to complete the comparison. Okay. Okay. You see it?
Yeah. This is with the hand sanding, resize, bleach. Okay.
Yeah. This one, of course, has, I mean, consider that there is some people that don't have any technology. I mean, they don't have laser, they don't have nebulization or foam machines, I mean, ozone and everything. This garment is made by hand sanding first. You see it full screen, this picture?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then there is a desize abrasion, so what was called stone wash, but now is of course without puny stones, using that kind of abrasive material I mentioned to you that are not releasing any microplastic. They are also recycled. You can recycle and make a new life of this kind of things because are fibers that can be let's say transformed in the plant pots, the pots that you put the plants. So it's something like that. So you can give a new life. That is an important concept. To not create more waste. That's important. So I was saying about this picture, then there is a desizing, abrasion, bleach, cleanup, all in the same bath. Because there are, I mean, certain kind of enzyme that working at room temperature that they can do desizing, they can do enzyme stone washing in the same times. And also if you add after a certain amount of minutes, which could be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, you can add the second chemicals that is killing the enzyme. So the enzyme activity ends and then start the bleaching and cleaning up. And is able to completely destroy the indigo that is in the bath. So also the back staining can be removed completely, and in the same time is exalting the contrast and abrasion that the enzyme previously made. And bleaching also a little bit the garment, all in one single bath. This is amazing. Using normal level of water, you can be 1 to 6 or 1 to 10.
But no high technologies, no expensive investments maybe.
Exactly, just nothing in this case, and maybe some machinery producer will kill me about that. But anyway, I'm just making two extreme comparison. Then I tell you again, the best is combining new technology and this kind of thing. That's the best. That's the best condition. So buy machinery, buy the technology machinery. Don't worry. No, but I just want to show that. I mean,
it's you've probably taken an extreme example. Okay, this you can do also, but I mean, of course, the best solution is having a combination of both the things.
Yes. In my opinion, yes, of course. But in this case, of course, also after these 3-4 steps in one, and consider that all those steps takes something like, I don't know, 10 to 15 washes, bath washes, and we are using only 2 in this case. So this is something really amazing. And then, of course, with this fabric, I was able to make it also in production. Maybe for other fabric, you need some steps more of cleaning up. I don't know, because maybe they are releasing much more indigo. So this is one case. Of course, our job, my job in particular, is always to customize the process according to the facility where I'm working and the availability of the technology and the kind of fabric they're working with.
Of course.
In this case, also the tinting and softening is made in the same bath, because it's something you can do. If it's a light tinting, you can do it. And this is the final effect. Also, in this case, it's not bad. Also, in this case, I used the abrasive material during the wall process, so you still have a nice abrasion. The good things I realize now that without using pumice stone, the garments looks much more clean. And also, you can still see the characteristics of the fabric, the nature of the fabric. Some area looks even raw. That gives a very nice, authentic look. Because if you see the authentic garments, they still have the dark shade of them, of course, the one with dark shades. They still have some raw area. And in this case, we are able to get it. With pumice stone, probably was impossible to get it, because pumice stones and the powder that the pumice stone released will pollute the fabric and make a little bit of, backstaining and not really nice. While this kind of new abrasive material, they're doing a very superficial, just like an hand sanding all over, making it in washing machine, that gives a very nice detailed contrast. This is something I like. Also, in this case, we have almost the same saving of water and energy. So this is a simple example of what we can do. Too extreme, of course, but just to give you an idea. When you talk about extreme, it's always more interesting, let's say.
It's a wonderful comparison, and I know this is very, very difficult to answer, but I mean, this is some, of course, always a topic of consideration when people ask, okay, what is the real cost of difference? What is the additional cost of doing a sustainable wash? I mean, and this is, of course, it cannot be answered so easily. I mean, let's say 10 years back, people were talking about it's almost double the cost when you're doing sustainable wash versus a sustainable wash. So,
you're right.
So how close now? I mean, let's say, generally speaking, how close we are when we say we are when we are trying to do a sustainable wash and non-sustainable wash. How close in the terms of costing probably we might be, if it is possible to answer. I don't know.
No. I understand what is your question, and it's understandable too. I mean, it's a common question, let's say. I have to be frank. Comparing with a couple of years ago. Just a couple of years ago, when there was a big gap. I mean, the cost of it was very expensive. It was expensive. The chemistry was expensive, the technology and everything. But I think that now we are getting close. We are getting closer. We are still not the same, in my opinion, my personal opinion, but we are getting closer. Also because we have to consider the whole cycle of the process. Because starting from the fabric mills, they are creating in a different way, using less water, less energy. So probably there is a sort of convenience in that. So they spend less money in electricity, in water, and everything probably is getting better. Then in the finishing process, now I see that, and also the example I made, if you consider how much you save, also considering how to treat the mud of the pumice stone, all the treatments you have to do, they are very expensive. I know laundry that they stop using pumice stone, not because now some brands doesn't want them to use it, but because it was too expensive to stock that mud, and then you do all the cleaning of their water cleaning system. It was very expensive to that. So they stopped using because it was too expensive. So this we have also to consider, that it could be a saving of money. So we have to see the full cycle. If you see the full cycle, in my opinion, we are getting very close. And really, my hope, but I'm sure of it, is that the next days, the next week, the next years, the technology of this sustainable kind of approach will be even more improved. And because everybody knows about the cost, everybody knows that if something is expensive, you will not sell it, or it will be difficult. So the interest is common to make it closer in terms of price and cost. And in my opinion, we are getting closer. We will get very close in the future, and maybe will be cheaper. This is my hope. And but I think so. I mean, at the end, it's just when you convert a method from an old one to a new one, there is always some critical moments that to adapt people working in a certain condition to a new condition. This is normal. Also, the people that were using potassium permanganate, they will get used to it. Potassium permanganate is giving amazing results, but we know it contains heavy metals. Sometimes you are not able to completely neutralize it, and some heavy metals are still in the fibers, and we consider also all the risk for the workers. And then move that to another kind of process, maybe lasers or something else. Of course, it's shocking a little bit the people. They're not used, so it needs time to get used of it. But once you get used, it will be done. I'm sure that also at the beginning, the first person that applied potassium permanganate needs time to be used to apply potassium permanganate. Like me, 20 years ago, when I applied potassium permanganate for the first time, I was doing terrible stuff. I mean, was not able to do it properly. Then I became good, and now I'm not using anymore. But anyway, I became good. Everything needs a little bit of time, but I'm sure we will get.
I remember when sandblasting also started, when it really started,
Right.
and I used to go to some companies, and they were kind of, it was like a mess, they were finding it so difficult to control the sand, it's going away, and workers not really used to it, and it was such a dangerous thing to do actually. Yeah. So yes, you're right. I mean, people get adjusted over a period of time, they learn.
Yeah, it's normal.
And now with the, of course, with COVID going on, this 2020 is like probably dedicated to COVID. So do you feel that the mills and the garment companies are finding it difficult to invest, or I mean, probably resisting to invest in more technologies, since of course everybody has been hit financially?
The period is tough for most of the companies, let's say. I believe only in this period of time, only few company mills or garment production, they are investing. Maybe some in China, I heard. I mean, it's for sure they are still investing, but in general, the big group may have financial availability to invest in something more. But what is smaller, in my opinion, is a period of time where it's very complicated to invest. And that's why I was making you the example that I'm focusing my energy to create process easy also for those people, those customers that are not able to invest in this moment, and maybe they want to do sustainable stuff. And but what I see personally, frankly speaking, concerning fabric mills, and what I see with my eyes, because I told you, since February I'm not able to travel. But in Italy, yes. So I've been visiting Candiani mills, for instance. And then I don't want to say too many names because I don't want to say, don't want to exclude anyone. But Candiani, I know because I've been there. I know, I mean, they invest a lot in the past about sustainable processes, where they're dyeing their fabric, when they're making gold, the cycle of their fabric productions. They invest a lot in sustainable stuff, saving water and everything, replacing some chemicals that may be polluting the wastewater, replacing with some natural one coming from the waste of some food industrial processes. So, I mean, saving that and using them as a fixing agent, for instance, and working very well. And the fabric, you cannot see the difference comparing the conventional with the new one. So I really believe that there are companies that maybe they invest a lot in the past, but now they are, what can I say, they are reaping the benefits of all the investment they did in the past. Now they're reaping the benefits. Before probably was a risk. And I really, I have a lot of esteem of them, because they invest in a period of time, risking their financial situation to invest because they were believing it on a vision, and now they are getting back. Now they're getting the benefits. Now they are ready for all the requests they have. While other people now, because of the crisis we have, they cannot invest. They did it before, risking a little bit, but now they're doing well. And anyway, I heard also about prosperity in China, for instance. I heard they're doing a lot of innovative, sustainable approach, just to say another name. Then concerning laundries, we know Cytex, of course, that is doing that, but started many, many years ago, not because of the virus, not because now everybody is more sensitive, but because there is a vision. Somebody believe on that. And also by my experience, I've been working for and collaborating with there's a studio, Indigo, in Dubai area. And they invest a lot in the last years on this technology and everything. And I just knew that, I mean, despite the situation, they recover the capacity of their production to 80%. So they have ordered to 80% of their capacity, while other people, they're very struggling. So I think that who had a vision, who really risked and invested before, now they are reaping all the benefits. And this is something interesting.
That's what,
luckily we have them.
I mean, we have people with vision. That's very important.
Yeah.
And also, I think Uniqlo, if you see from the brand side, Uniqlo is one of the retailers which has a strong vision on sustainability, and you are consulting with them. So, I mean, what do you think their vision towards sustainable washing and for the coming period also, let's say 1 or 2 years?
I was lucky to know Uniqlo and anyway all the fast retailing group that which Uniqlo is part of it, and I realized that they have been always, and they've been always focused with a sustainable vision, starting many years ago, and from the sourcing, because the sourcing of the fabric, the cotton, they are of course partnered. They have a collaboration with the Better Cotton initiatives, and so also all the cottons they use has to be produced in a proper way, also caring about environments, all these kind of things. They're also using a specific kind of cotton like Supima cotton. Supima cotton is also a cotton that is traceable, so they know exactly who is producing, how they're producing, and everything. So there is since the sourcing is very important. They use, for some products, they use rayon. And rayon, is coming from the cellulose of the trees, and they use that. Instead of using some artificial stuff, they use something that coming from woods, but only woods that they are allowed to be used, of course, because they have also a commitment with an organization called Canopy, that preserve the ancient forest, and so they allow you to use only certain kind of woods and not the others. And also they did a line of sportswear using a fabric, a fiber cloth called Dry X, that comes from recycled plastic bottles. So they recycle plastic bottles, and with that they make a new fiber and make the sportswear like the shirt that tennis players are using, all this kind of thing. So this is something amazing. And then just because I'm following them developments and production, I realized that they also have, they follow since the inputs of the chemicals that has been used, they are using in their production. From the input of this chemical, they have their own RSL that is very strict. But they integrate that RSL with the new MRSL of ZDHE, zero discharge of hazardous chemicals roadmap. So they are also integrating that list of chemicals, forbidden chemicals. Then they are also adapt to the Sustainable Apparel Coalition with the HIG. So also they have that. So the chemistry also is very strictly checked. Whatever is used by their contractors is strictly checked in the input. During production also there is a third-party independent agency that's checking that everything is made as following the fast retailing sustainable rules. And at the output, they also have their own PRSL, but also they follow the they call it the wastewater screening of ZDHC. So they check the wastewater that there is no any polluted component, and also they follow that standards, let's say. So in that case, they are really, really strict on that, and they are working on that. Then also on the selling stage, I know that this year they are replacing all the shopping plastic bag with recycled paper bags. And by the 2022, they are going to replace also all the single-use plastic for the packaging, replaced by recycled material. So there is a lot of things. Also in terms of ethic approach, they are part of the UN Women, that is United Nations entity for gender equality. So means that all the women in the textile industry working for Uniqlo or fast retailing, and there are many because I think most of the people working are women. And so they support them, they're giving training in order to give them the opportunity for their career, and in order to have the same condition of men's or other genders. So equity in that sense. This is something that Uniqlo is already doing even before I start working with them. And going to my personal experience, since 2016, we built up the Jeans Innovation Center. That is in LA, in Los Angeles, and it's where I used to go there before the virus every month. And it's a group, it's a team of experts, me and other experts from Japan and from US. And it's a big investment of the company. I don't think many other brands doing something like that, where they want a full control of all the wash process they're doing in their production plants. So what we do there is to, and what was the target at the beginning, was to create a wash formula, easy to scale in production, consistent, with a target to save up to 90-95% of water, not using any manual operation. So whatever we do with laser. If there is some dry process, it's done by lasers. No punistone at all, and reduce as much as possible the use of chemistry. And the few chemistry we use, of course, they have to follow those standards I mentioned it to you before. And it took almost 2 years to set up a consistent formula, wash formula for different styles. And now we are doing those processes. And by the end of this year, all production of the fast retailing brands is done using that sustainable wash. And this is amazing. Consider that.
It's a huge volume we are talking about.
Huh?
It's a huge volume of production we are talking about. So
no, this is the vision of the group. So it's amazing. And consider that all the production manager of our contractors are invited to the Jeans Innovation Center before the production starts. We teach them all the process. We suggest them. We just suggest some tools to use or machineries and everything. And we instruct them. So when the production will come to their facility, they're ready. They know exactly what to do. Also, me and some of my colleagues, we go there from sampling to production to help them, to assist them, and just check if, because sometimes we have to adapt. I mean, sometimes we have to see what kind of machinery they have and everything, but still under that sustainable rules of fast retailing. And then what we do. So it's a big job. And what we see now is 4 years, so let's say that this Jeans Innovation Center is continuously developing and creating this wash formula for their brands. Every season we are able to find a new effect, new look, and everything, because Uniqlo has a look. J brand has another kind. It's more fashionable. We can do more things. For instance, for J brand was amazing. Also, I did for them the vegetable natural dyeing for some lines. So completely made with natural elements from roots, from skin of fruits wasted from the food industry. So it's amazing process. challenging process, of course, and process and project, sorry. And at the end, I went to the shop. It's amazing colors, amazing stuff, full vegan,
Natural.
full full natural. So this is something, another project that could be possible with J brand, but of course Uniqlo is too big to handle this kind of project. So for every brand, there is a dedicated project, dedicated people, and it's amazing. In my opinion, it's amazing approach on a sustainable way.
I think, Luca, I could, keep on speaking to you and, learning from you the whole day, probably. I think we could continue the conversation the whole
I
day.
spoke a lot. I know.
It's so interesting, so you're
I'm
giving
just
so
realizing I was not stopping myself.
it was so many things to learn, so many wonderful projects you are working on. So I would really have, maybe some other time I need to sit the whole day with you and try to learn more. So,
yeah, maybe focus on some specific things and we can dedicate something. Anyway, consider that whatever I can share with the denim community, I'm happy to share it. Also, I mean, everybody can contact me to my email, that is office@bluealchemy.it. And of course, there are projects and concepts and processes that I cannot share because it's only exclusivity of my customers. But whatever I can share, of course, I can help. I'm happy to do it.
That's wonderful. I mean, it's been a wonderful conversation with you, and I really enjoyed it. And I hope all those who are watching this at our Denim Jeans virtual show also.
I hope it was clean and clear, yeah, enough. I mean, it was understandable. I hope so.
Absolutely.
Sorry for my English; it's not very good, I know. But
no, it's good. I think it's perfect. I mean, I didn't find any problem in that at all.
Okay. Anyway,
so I thank you once. Thank you so much, and so wonderful to have you with us.
Yeah, I wish you all the best for all your projects.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
Sandeep.
you.